Some better in style, I should think about pride. I do. Things get better with time. Yet souls never undying. It's a haiku. These thoughts never can die. These tears never gonna dry when I lose you. Some hearts double inside. Your short head grow inch line like the Grinch do. I don't have time cause the race too. Factor in lies that are birth fruit. On the way up, slugfest.
Welcome back to Monday Evening Football Daily Show. Today is Friday, October 14th, and we got a great episode for you today. I hope you didn't stay up too late watching that, what some are calling maybe the worst football game in the history of football games. And I know a lot of people were optimistic between the Commanders and the Bears, but it kind of went exactly how you would expect it to go. I know there's people out there like Pat McAfee trying to be positive, force some positivity into the game, and Barstool Big Cat, I think his fandom might have got the best of him, but they were all saying, hey, let's go take this over at 38.5. And yeah, it did look great. It looked, appetizing, but you had to remember who these teams were that were playing, okay? And I think it's a little bit irresponsible of those guys who are promoting these big Barstool, promotions or have big followings. They're saying, ride along with us. And I'm sure a lot of people had that over, and they must have been sick. Hopefully you didn't put too much money on that. And, you maybe hedged your bet once you realize this game isn't going anywhere quick. I'm sure a lot of emotional bettors out there. Someone who was very emotional after the game, a little fired up, a little pissed off, Coach Ron Rivera, after getting the W, people bringing up Carson Wentz and asking if, it was Dan Snyder's idea to bring Carson Wentz in. And, Ron Rivera got a little pissed off, said, I was the one watching the tape. I was the one looking at the papers on Carson Wentz, and I'm the one who, damn wanted him here. And you could tell his sense of frustration with the media, and maybe, a certain person that did happen to see, I think we're starting to see a little bit of the Pat McAfee effect where, Pat was like, this guy's, not a dog. And then the world kind of was like, this guy's not a dog. I think this might be the first time you're really seeing the Pat McAfee effect of like, he's kind of labeled like an inconsistent quarterback. And he's true. Ron Rivera's true. Carson Wentz does not deserve that. But also you got to play beyond that. And he might just be a guy that's just, that's tough. But it's good to see Ron Rivera, having his quarterbacks back after earlier in the week saying some things. I honestly don't think Ron Rivera knew the scale of the Carson Wentz drama or the things that surrounded him, from media, Twitter, and stuff like that. I honestly don't until he made that comment, had that conversation with the team, and then he probably realized, this is a bigger deal than I initially thought. But yeah, Ron Rivera walking out of a press conference a little fired up, a little pissed off, a little having his quarterbacks back. You got to love it for the Washington Commanders after, seemingly a game. Let's just get into the game. It did seem like the Washington Commanders were trying to lose that game because of Dan Snyder and how despicable of an owner he is. That was what it seemed like to me. Was Washington was actively trying to lose that game. Now the Bears didn't make it easy for him. I mean, the Bears only putting up 7 points. I will say a couple bright spots for the Bears. Justin Fields can take 17 hits. That's for sure. But one thing that stood out to me: 88 rushing yards. That's what you kind of need out of Justin Fields. You need him to be a dual threat. And I think if he starts to understand that as a quarterback, your team will do a lot better. But Khalil Herbert showing some heart with the 62-yard run, and then not getting into the end zone on his 4th and 2 try. But showing some heart. Justin Fields tried to get out there, get a block. Hey, also Brian Robinson for the Washington Commanders getting in the end zone. Good to see him back. His story's awesome. Just the fact that he came out to many men after being shot and recovering from that was pretty awesome. And Many Men's a song by 50 Cent, for those of you if you don't know, talking about how he got shot and then came back from it. So really awesome. But other than that, Carson Wentz didn't even get 100 yards. I know when I go bowling, I'm like, man, if I don't break 100, I'm having a bad day bowling. This guy didn't even break 100 throwing the ball. which he was really having a bad day, but somehow figured out to get a win, 12-7, which to be honest is really just rather astounding. And yeah, so the Bears are bad. Hopefully they get better. I said it yesterday. The loser of that game definitely should have been required to sell their team, I think. I thought that was fair. But here we are today, still owned by the same team, still two bad football clubs, and we're just going to keep them moving. Despite the two teams being bad, there was one thing kind of circulating around Twitter that might have been a little worse, and that would have been the halftime promo Pile On. If you did see that, it was, kind of made some jokes. It had one of the SNL cast members on it, and to be honest, it was very reminiscent of like the Soup with Joe McHale, but I think it kind of missed. But it might be early. It might just be people's gut reaction to it. I think it might have some potential, some legs for being a good halftime segment. But the first bit of it, it was a little tough to watch. I watched the game with some friends, and we were kind of cracking jokes. And if you went on Twitter, you definitely saw the same thing. Pile On is the least funny thing I've ever seen. Cancel the show for the love of God was one person's take on Twitter. Amazon Prime halftime Pile On thing might be the worst thing I've seen. So yeah, a lot of people just not really happy with how that halftime segment went. But we'll see. Maybe it gets better. You got to be optimistic about these things, or maybe they have the sense to scrap it. But I think, there's a ton of stuff you can do. You look around the internet, you'll find some gold that you could put in for your halftime show. But you might have to look at some smaller creators. I don't know. But getting into some other news around the league, Deshaun Watson, trending again, making headlines. The 26-known civil lawsuit filed against Deshaun Watson. Got to touch on it. It's unfortunate. But just a, shitty situation, and who knows where it's going to stop. So that's Deshaun Watson. That's his problem to deal with. I hope the Browns lose all their games, and Deshaun Watson also, doesn't have a very much successful career. But that's just me. So we are going to, however, get into something that I put on yesterday for some of the fans. I sent it out to some of the Bears fans because I was feeling a little bad for them after that loss. And I just wanted them to know, like, hey, if they need some salvation, come on over. So I'm gonna send it over to this little video I made yesterday, and just wanted to share it with any potential Bears fans that are watching. We're starting a new campaign to help Bears fans all around the country, but mostly in the Illinois and Chicagoland area. So without further ado, here's a public service announcement to any Chicago Bears fans.
And I decided to fucking get in some rows. You know what I'm talking about? Because the Bears are so boring. Because the Bears still suck. And they're always going to suck. So why are you a Bears fan? Be a Packers fan. It's much better that way. Much better. Hey, we need more. We can never have enough, Hey, we like to cheer loud. We're passionate a bunch. We got great history. You know a lot about us. Come on over. Green and gold. You secretly got some green and gold in your house somewhere. Along the way, you got some. Come on. Be a Packers fan with us. We need more. We're more than happy to have you. You're going to have to change some things about you, but for the most part, we're going to cheer and enjoy good football. Think it over. The Bears are so boring, I decided to fucking get in some rows.
That's just a little public service announcement for the Chicago Bears there. And, really just want to kind of help them out a little bit. If we can, just want to let you know, hey, fandom, don't subject yourself to this. And this is me kind of being a fan and just like piling on the Bears, like being bad. But don't subject yourself to bad stuff. Just, take the little bit of medicine that you're going to get from everyone judging you from switching from Bears fan to a Packers fan, but then just enjoy. Just enjoy. You already kind of do. You already admire the man Rodgers who owns your team. let's just enjoy football together and make the Green Bay Packers fan base a little stronger. Because you guys do have something to bring to a fan base, even if you don't see it. But I digress. That's enough of this past game. The one news story from around the league. And now we're going to get into a new segment, which, I like to call. We're 1 week in the books, baby, with the first, week of Monday Evening Football Daily Show coming back. Super exciting. Couldn't be more happy. Couldn't be more thankful to the people that have been liking, subscribing, commenting. I had one guy comment, and he's like, I got this story wrong. And I was like, dude, he had some good points, but I was pumped that I was just getting comments. And yeah, I might have missed some things on the story, but we're aiming to get better. That's what the show's about. And, we're starting something new. We're starting something new, or starting it back up. We're going to have some good stuff here. But let's, without further ado, get to, I wonder actually. Let me try to do something real quick, because if I could do this, this would be cool. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to on the fly. But for next week, we'll have it, and it'll be great. It'll be awesome. But without further ado, let's get to the segment called Scotty O's Football Sunday 12-Leg Parlay, which is brought to you, or presented by, a future sponsor. So, here we go. We have Scotty O's Football Sunday 12-Leg Parlay that we're going to put together for you. And we're going to keep track of our record, and we're going to use this as a benchmark to get better. We're going to hopefully give you guys some insight on what, what's good, what's bad, what's going to be great. And, we're going to have fun with it. It's going to be a good time. And I'm just here. I want to, before we get going.
I hope this goes well.
Oh, remember, no. Can't do that. All right. Well, we could. Hang on here. I just got to tweak a couple things, and then we're ready to rock with Scotty O's Football Sunday 12-legger. It's a 12-legger. Just a simple 12-legger, okay? Just a simple 12-legger. And, I'm just looking for something. All right, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Beautiful. All right, this is what we got for you. Scotty O's 12-leg parlay. Here we go. All right, so coming in number one here, we got the Bucs versus the Steelers. And let me bring this down here. All right, here we go. Sorry, my music coming through my headphones was a little too loud, so I'm hoping this is coming across to you guys really good. But here's what we got first. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the Steelers. I think that one's pretty obvious. I'm going with Tampa. You got to go Tom Brady. After last week's loss with the Steelers to the Bills, I don't know if they're going to bounce back from that one. I know Mike Tomlin's probably coaching his guys up. I don't think it's going to matter regardless. Heading over to that Jacksonville Colts game here. Who do I like? I forgot what I had. I have the Colts, obviously, because I think Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars will make it a good game. But I got to go my good buddy Vince. He's a ride or die for the Colts. Loves them. And I think they might have it this week. Still trying to find their identity. Matt Ryan still trying to get going with the team. But I think they get it done versus the Jaguars and take another step in the right direction there. Then we have the Bengals versus the Saints. I obviously taken the Bengals with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I think another team here that's looking to find an identity. I don't think the Saints can get it done with Taysom Hill scoring 4 touchdowns again. We'll see. I could be very wrong in that. But I think if Joe Burrow gets some protection, he's able to get Jamar Chase going early, I think they could have a very successful football Sunday. And then we're going to switch over to the Vikings and Dolphins. Obviously here I'm going to be taking the Vikings all day. All day. You can't beat Kirk Cousins, those guys. If Tua was in, maybe. But You got Skylar Thompson, as we reported on earlier in the week, is going to get the start there. So I think Kirk Cousins, Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson is going to get that done for the Minnesota Vikings. And I think they, kind of stay atop of the NFC North for a little while longer, at least for, another week.
Start selling online with Shopify.
And then, so moving right along here, we have the Browns and Patriots. And I think even though the Patriots took it to the Lions last week, I think the Browns are going to take the edge here. Nick Chubb is going to get it done for them. You run all over him, Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. And I think they squeak out a win against the Patriots. This brings us to the New York Jets. Obviously, Green Bay Packers game. Green Bay at home here. I'm going with Aaron Rodgers. You know me, Packers fan, diehard Packers fan. I just hope Zach Wilson doesn't get to town and just bang all the Green Bay, moms that are there, because that's kind of his thing. But, hopefully he does that, doesn't have the legs to get the ball downfield, and the Green Bay Packers come out with a dominant victory there. Would be, the goal, and it would make me very happy. And also for the 12-legger, it definitely helps. And then we have Dallas versus Philly. That's going to be the night game on Sunday night. Pretty good night game. Obviously, Cooper Rush there, undefeated as a starter right now. Dak's going to, hold off another week to come back. You have Jalen Hurts in Philly. Jalen Hurts in Philly, we'll see. That team is rolling. Can they continue to roll, or is the Cooper Gold Mine rush gonna stop? We will have to see there. But that being said, I have the Philadelphia Eagles in that one, obviously. And then moving right along, we got the Baltimore versus the New York Jets. I think the New York Jets might be on a little bit of a streak. It's kind of very reminiscent of me to an Eli Manning type of year for the Giants. Apologize. This is a Giants-Ravens game. I think the Giants team right now, after beating the Packers, is very reminiscent of the Eli Manning Giants. And with that, I'm taking the Giants. I think Lamar Jackson maybe struggles in this game. Saquon Barkley gets going. Those couple of things. I think the Giants may get 2 big wins that people aren't expecting here. Danny Dimes maybe throws a couple tutters. And then we're moving right along to the 49ers and the Falcons. I don't know if the Falcons are going to have enough firepower to get this done. I think if Jimmy Garoppolo just keeps secure the ball, when they run the ball, I think they're going to have a day. So I'm taking the 49ers there. And then we have the Panthers versus the Rams. Panthers obviously just firing their coach. And now that I'm thinking about it, I wish I would have took the Panthers because they just fired their coach. And I think, they'll get a win under their new coach. But I'm going to go safe there with the Rams. That'll probably pay off better for the 12-leg parlay if you are following along. And the last game here that we have is the Cardinals versus the Seahawks. I'm taking my guy Geno Smith. We called him week 1 of the Monday Evening Football game, or Monday Evening Football broadcast, and he's phenomenal. And his story's been great. The way he's talking to reporters, they're like, hey, are you surprised with your comeback, your revival of your career? He's like, nah, you just never see me throw, which I thought was an awesome answer. So obviously taking the Seattle Seahawks there, and that's going to be our 12-leg parlay. So once again, we got the Bucks, Colts, Bengals, Vikings, Browns, Packers, Eagles, Giants, 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks. And that's something you could take to the bank for Scotty O's Football Sunday 12-leg parlay. And, maybe just throw a unit, depending on what your unit is on this. 1 unit, 2 units. Doesn't have to be anything big, but just something fun. But that is all we have for this week's Monday Evening Football Daily Show. This was week 1, guys. We appreciate anyone and everyone for tuning in. We're only going to get better from here. We're going to bring you great football content and just continue, talking football and growing the channel and having fun. New segments, get people involved. We're excited. We appreciate any likes and subscribes. It always helps, shares, all that stuff. And you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy Football Sunday. And we will see you Monday evening. Well, we'll see you in the day, and then we'll see you in the evening. Until then,